What's going on, Browns fans? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson. The season's over, but we're not done here at the Browns Report. We're still going to put content your way. And so we got a couple of rumors to touch on today's show. Coming up, we got a Baker and Kevin Stefanski make-up feel-good story. We got some quotes coming out of the exit interview for Baker and Stefanski. And then later on in the show, we'll touch on whether or not the Browns should re-sign David Njoku. He surely was advocating and campaigning for him to return to Cleveland. And finally, listening to you guys in the comments section, should the Browns sign Michael Gallup? Well, we'll kind of put our foot in the free agency pool. So all that's coming up. But first, I want to explain to you how the way we're going to operate today's show. So we got a bunch of new subscribers since we last showed the Bernie Heads rumor meter. So the way we operate here at Chat Sports, we like to have fun and we like to keep things light. So we use these thing called Bernie Heads, of course, after Bernie Kosar. And the way it works is if I give it one Bernie Head, then it's a small shred of truth. 2 Bernie Heads, people are talking. 3 Bernie Heads, pretty likely, and 4 Bernie Heads, Believeland. You can take it to the bank. So we got all the way from 0 fake news to 4. But before we get into the first story today, guys, we are so close to 4,000 subscribers. This is my dream right here. Get to 4,000. I got bigger dreams, but right now the dream is get to 4K. So help us reach that milestone. If you have not subscribed already, would greatly appreciate if you hit that big red button below. And if you've already subscribed, thank you so much for helping us pave the way to 4,000. So the first story on today's show, Baker and Kevin Stefanski, did they make up? There was a bit of a riff reported by some Cleveland media talking to MKC. I'm giving this one 2 Bernie Heads. Some small people are talking, and the reason why it's not more is because we got a lot of coach talk, and coaches like to go, yeah, he's our quarterback, or everything's hunky-dory, and looking forward to next season. They're never going to come out to the media and go, oh, no, Baker and I, yeah, we hate each other, actually. We're at each other's throats. But they're not going to also just make out in front of the camera. So I would say, Cleveland media coming out and saying Baker's exit interview went well. There's a lot of what the big Jays are saying out by the lake, that overall, that the interview had some good takeaways and some good back and forth. Very little, content from the interview is actually revealed to the public and to the media. They like to keep that stuff behind closed doors. So I don't think we're going to know the truth behind whether or not Baker and Kevin Stefanski are truly having a riff, and if Baker doesn't like Stefanski's play calling, and if Stefanski wants a different quarterback. I don't know if that truth will ever come out until one of these 2 guys is out of here. That would be my guess, is if Stefanski, say, gets fired years from now, or the Browns move on from Baker years from now, maybe at that point one of them leaks the true story that happened in Cleveland. But Kevin Stefanski, he did offer up this little quote of a nugget telling us what happened in the exit interview, kind of on how things are going. He goes, oh, yes. He's looking forward, and I'm looking forward for him to go get the surgery, rest up, get healthy, all those things. So Stefanski gave us a lot to talk about right there, right? But it does give you at least some sort of feel of there's a good sense of rallying around Baker. And I think that's what the fan base has to do. Baker can be a bit polarizing. I think Baker speaks his mind. He is not afraid to go in front of the mic and say what's on his mind, and that can do him pretty poorly at times. That can, make him a easy target to pick on. But I think at the end of the day, Browns fans got to rally around number 6. And so if you want Baker to have a bounce-back season, go ahead and type 6 below. If a YouTube ad break comes on by, use that as an opportunity to go down and give me your 6s, because let's be frank, the Browns need Baker to be good if the Browns are going to be good. Story number 2 on today's show. So the Browns re-signed David Njoku. He had a pretty good season this year. I'm giving this one 3 Bernie Heads. Probably 2.5 if I could do that, if I could cut Bernie's head in half, but I wouldn't want to do that. So 3 Bernie Heads for now, which means pretty likely. It's tough to say. He's set to hit free agency after this season. His 5th and final year of his rookie deal is up. This is the former first-round pick we're talking about, 2017. Did he live up to a first-round draft status? No. But is he a bad player and a bad person to have on your football team? No. It's okay if a player it doesn't live up to their first-round hype, but you also want to keep them around because maybe you realize, yeah, he wasn't worth the first-round pick we invested him, but he does, add solid contributions to this team, and he wants to stay in Cleveland. And Njoku, and we'll show you his quotes in a moment, is publicly campaigning and advocating he does not want to leave the lake. So if you want Njoku to be re-signed by the Browns, go ahead and type me down below. Really curious, because Njoku's career with Cleveland and the fan base, kind of up and down, right? First-round pick, kind of a bust, but this year he comes through time after time at key situations, super athletic. I still think about that great play he had in the Chargers game. So if you want Njoku to stick with the Browns, go ahead and give me a me down below. What I'll say is this: if he wants to stay in Cleveland on a team-friendly deal, maybe something like 2-year, $22 million, $20 million, right? Pay him $10 million a season, a lot of incentives. Maybe even it's difficult to gauge what the second-tier tight end market goes. But sure, I'll let him stick around for that. Here's what also Njoku had to say, by the way. He said this: "I love it here to the core. I honestly want to be here for the rest of my career." That wasn't all he said. He also said, "It's a dream to bring a championship here to Cleveland. There's no question there's unfinished business." I don't know about you guys, but that fires me up. Like, I love seeing a guy who went to college, not even a local guy, right? Didn't play in college in Ohio. Played in college in Miami, and he is fired up, and it's a dream for him to bring a championship to Cleveland. Something that we need to see happen, and hopefully in a lifetime of ours. So for them to say that, yeah, give him a little dough. Let him stick around in Cleveland. We'll get to the third story in just a moment, but our friends over at BetUS, our awesome sportsbook partner, has a great deal going on. I understand the Brown season's over, but that does not mean we have to stop being degenerates. I, for one, will continue to gamble. And I hope you join me at BetUS. When you go to chatsports.com/bet, make sure you use the link, Browns, use that link right there, along with the promo code, Browns125. And when you use that, you're going to get a 125% deposit bonus. Just because the Brown season's over doesn't mean you can't bet on the playoffs in the NFL, on the Cavs in the NBA. Tons of great stuff to put your money on. I'm going to be betting on this. I'm betting on the Chiefs. The Steelers, how amazing would it have been for the tie to happen on Sunday Night Football and Big Ben watches his career end from his couch? He'd been crying on the bench last year in the playoff game and crying on his couch after Week 18. But ride with me. -13, let's hammer the Chiefs, and let's send the Steelers home and end Big Ben's career on a sour note. Third and final story comes from one of you guys, one of our subscribers who commented on the show, young Phantom, I think I got it. Honest question: what are the odds of the Browns bringing in Michael Gallup in the offseason? Good question, young P. I'm going to give this one 2 Bernie heads. It's difficult to gauge this early what direction the Browns want to go in free agency. We know the Browns need wide receivers, and so that's why it's not one or fake news. But Michael Gallup is going to be a free agent after this year. However, he did just tear his ACL. So anytime a player has a big injury, it's going to send some shockwaves. But then again, this is 2022. Our doctors are not the kind of doctors that were working on the fields in the Civil War. They're pretty good at fixing knees up and getting players back in shape. I mean, Cam Akers, the running back for the Rams, ruptured his Achilles in July, and he's going to be playing in the playoffs. Achilles is a year-long injury. Maybe not so much anymore if you're a freak athlete and you have the best doctors money can buy you. So I got it for 2 Bernie heads. Could be talked up to 3. But here are the upcoming free agency class for wide receivers. I broke it into 2 tiers. This first one you're looking at, that's the top tier. Everyone's chasing after Devontae Adams. And then if you don't get Adams, you hope you can settle for Godwin or Allen Robinson. So that's tier 1. Tier 2 looks something like this. Our good friend OBJ, I didn't even put him in Tier 1. Will Fuller, when he's playing, he's good, but he needs to play. Then Juju, maybe not even a Tier 2, maybe Tier 2.5. Christian Kirk is a little up and down, and then you got Gallup right there too. You could put a bunch of different names into Tier 2 and not be wrong necessarily, but you look at Gallup's career in Dallas, the former third-round pick, has had an up-and-down career, but I would say overall, for what he's been able to do, up, okay? eclipsed 1,000 yards in his second season, went off for 6 touchdowns. And this is a guy who's been in a crowded wide receiver room. He's had Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb there the last 2 seasons. So he's been wide receiver 3, and yet in 2020, he was still able to put up over 800 yards. For wide receiver 3, that would be first on the Cleveland Browns this season. So Gallup's had a pretty good career, and I think he just needs a little more love, and he would really take off. But let me ask this question to you guys. Would you want the Browns to sign Michael Gallup? I don't know if you feel strongly one way or another, but let me know down below. Give me a Y for yes or an N for no, and I'll let you know what I think in just a moment. I would sign him to something like a 3-year, $40 million contract. I looked at the NFL contracts, and that's roughly the area he would fit in. That would be like 25th-ish and maybe closer to 20th. It's tough because the NFL salary cap's about to go up by a lot, but Gallup's coming off an ACL injury. Allen Robinson, for example, he got signed by the Bears after he just tore his ACL with the Jags. So just because you tear your ACL does not mean you're done and you can't get paid afterwards. That's not true whatsoever. But I think 3-year, $40 million sounds about right. I think that's what he'll be asking for, and I don't know if the Browns will be the highest bidder. Now, make sure you follow me on Twitter if you want to stay up to date on the latest Browns news and rumors all season long. And we're going to catch you later here on the Cleveland Browns Report.